The McClendon Report. Ask or Ask, Donda's Rules, Suit Shoes. All available at McClendonReport.com. What should be the punishment for throwing a beer on a professional baseball field into an outfielder's face? Should he be fined, charged with battery, or just cited for disorderly conduct? John Mascione admittedly tossed a brew on Philadelphia Philly Shane Victorino, but he hid first and confessed later. I'm proposing no jail time for John, but he should be sentenced to cutting Wrigley Field's lawn, selling beer for no compensation, and washing Victorino's uniform for at least a week. What should John Mascione's punishment be tonight on Garrard McClendon Live? Welcome to Garrard McClendon Live. John Mascione's beer shower on Philadelphia Philly Shane Victorino was only an act of love for the Cubbies, but he tried to hide the hand that tossed the brew, leading to the apprehension of another fan. Mascione confesses trying to make nice, but now he faces disorderly conduct and battery charges. Should the beer pitcher be punished? If so, what should the punishment be? Joining us now from the Tribune Tower is Northwest Indiana Times reporter, host of the nationally syndicated radio talk show Diamond Gems, and author of Sweet Lou and the Cubs, Mr. George Castle. George, welcome to Garrard McClendon Live.
Thank you, Gerard, and it's great to talk to the other McClendon from Northwest Indiana besides Lloyd McClendon, hitting coach of the Tigers and legendary Lloyd of Little League fame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got the McClendon background all hooked up. Hey, George, talk to me, man. Wrigley Field, the ultimate beer garden. They grabbed the wrong guy. Is this par for the course for Wrigley security?
I don't think it's par for the course for Wrigley security, but again, it's a culture of party atmosphere at night. There's been an unfortunate tradition of incidents at night. Remember when the fan grabbed Chad Kruger's hat when he was catching for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers started a rumble in the stands?
Yeah.
That was at a night game, and this is one of the reasons why they don't play the Cubs-Sox game at U.S. Cellular Field on a Friday night, because people would be drinking all day, so they don't dare play that game past 3 o'clock.
Yeah, you know, George, who do you fault for this? I mean, the wrong person was grabbed. Who do you fault? The fans for, not defending the right person? Do you fault security? What's your take on this?
Well, I fault the fans for not pointing out the culprit in the first place. I also fault the party atmosphere. If you look at the video, you look at a still photo, they're all Generation Z type of people, college age. They probably do everything there but pass the girl from back to front in the bleachers.
Oh my God!
I'm surprised they're all, not wearing blue like at a college football game. These are not the bleachers of my generation. Gerard, I'm a dinosaur. When we used to go out to the bleachers, instead of paying $50 or $60, I paid $1, and you went out there to actually watch a ball game.
Yeah.
And they would let you in with a thermos of iced tea. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember going to Cub games back in the day. It's just such a pleasant experience, but now it's almost like this exclusive club for partiers. George, for non-baseball fans or those unaware of rules, what happens if Victorini drops this fly ball? What's the rule?
I think that there would be an appeal. They would claim some sort of fan interference. I think that the umpires would have some discretion to do something with it. It's unfortunate because there have been other incidents, not especially beer showers on players, but when the call would go against the umpires during a night game, the fans would litter the warning track with trash and all that. The game would be delayed for 5 or 10 minutes. You've had incidences where fans have run onto the field and challenged Randy Myers or Bobby Howry. They're all at night games, so the culture of drinking and baseball, they go hand in hand. You can't ban beer at baseball games. I don't know what you can do. You just cannot turn the clock back to 1973 and staff the bleachers with families and kids and retired people and baseball fans like you used to.
And beer is a huge moneymaker, and they are not going to stop selling it. Let me read some comments, George. Carl from Facebook. He says he should be given a bleacher seat for life at Wrigley Field and pour hot oil instead of cold beer on opposing team outfielders because the Cubs need all the help that they can get. Dolores says no punishment. It's not like the player hasn't had beer before, voluntarily or involuntarily. Someone else here, Dolores, says, oh, please, unreal. Jail time? He shouldn't get jail time. This guy didn't display unfamiliar behavior at Wrigley Field. He just thought the player was thirsty. People are looking at this from a very facetious point of view, but it makes perfect sense.
Well, if I wanted to be facetious, you should sentence Guccione to selling Frosty malts on a 40-degree day at Wrigley Field to Garrard McClendon and see what rejection is like.
Oh, see, that's not right, George. Hey, George, compensation for the falsely accused here. This poor guy was wrestled by Wrigley Field security, taken out of the ballpark, and accused of throwing this beer on Victorini. What should he get, George?
I think he should get to manage the Cubs for one day, you know, when they have one of these substitute starters going. But, yeah, they should really give him a few games worth of free tickets and some consideration. And certainly if the Cubs ever make the playoffs again, let him get in, you know, gratis for the team in that situation.
Yeah. Quickly before we go to break, punishment for Mascione. This guy, the real person who threw the brew on Victorino.
Ban him from Wrigley Field for a couple of years, as they did with those, I believe that those guys that ran out to the mound and tried to confront the, you know, the pitchers way back when. And, you know, basically make sure that he doesn't do this again. If he's not in the ballpark, he certainly can't throw beer on people.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? Stay with me, George. Hold tight for the break. Wrigley Field, also known as the largest beer garden in the world, gets an unenviable headline. Beer showers, John Mascione.
I'd like to apologize to Shane Victorino. It really is nothing against him. It was a mistake, like I said. And the Chicago Cubs, I'm sorry I disgraced you, the fans of the Cubs.
Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. George Castle joins me from Tribune Tower as we discuss John Mascione and the alcohol toss onto a Phillies player, Shane Victorino. Wrigley security grabbed the wrong guy, but Mascione confesses. Should he be punished? Give me a call, 630-575-TALK. George, before I go to phone calls, you mentioned that he should be punished, you know, ban him from a year from Wrigley Field. Is that enough, though, George?
I don't know. I don't know if you're using an atomic bomb on an anthill there. It was it was a very rash act. I mean, anybody who throws something on the field should basically be banned. I mean, you pay a lot of money. I don't know why this guy would pay 50 or 60 or 65 bucks and then put himself in a position to get thrown out and have legal problems. It doesn't make any sense. But again, that's a problem because a lot of these bleacher fans look like they go to 1 or 2 games a year. They're not real baseball fans, and they don't know how to behave. If they were out there frequently, and which you can't do anymore with the prices that they're charging, I think they'd have more invested in being at the ball game and behaving right and learning a little something about baseball rather than acting like it's a college frat house.
Yeah, if you can score Wrigley Field tickets in this day and age, you are a part of a very exclusive country club. Hold tight, George. I'm going to go to phones. Karina, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Karina, what's your comment?
Hello, how you doing, McClendon?
Pretty good.
All right, I think that fan should clean the entire stadium after the next game, clean the entire stadium by his whole self.
Wow. Karina, thanks for the call. We appreciate you. Clean the whole stadium, George.
Well, here's the problem, Gerard. In the old days, when you cleaned the stadium, when you volunteered to pick up and put the seats back in place, they gave you tickets for the next day. So I don't know if that would be in keeping with the great tradition there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go to Tina next. Tina, thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment, Tina?
Hi.
Hi.
I was calling because I think that the guy that they pulled down on the ground, they should give him a good apology.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They need to say
on national TV.
Yeah, oh, wow. Hey, Tina, thanks.
I mean, they embarrassed him on TV, so they should give him an apology on national TV.
Wow, Tina, I like that. Thank you so much for your call. George, she's making sense here. The Chicago Cub organization should give a public televised apology for the young man that was basically accosted by Wrigley security. What do you think?
Well, that would come after the apology for not developing a 30-homer, 100 RBI guy out of their farm system since Billy Williams.
Ooh, you know, and you might need to have a little bit of steroids for that. Let me go back to Facebook here. Melvin Harding says he should be flogged publicly by Michael Fay. He should also be forced to renew his season ticket until the Cubs win a World Series. That would surely cost him a lot of cash, and it'll probably never happen. Oh, we got to talk about this a little bit later. Let me go to one more phone call, George. Let me go to Millie. Thanks for calling Garrard McClendon Live. Talk to me, Millie. What do you think?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think for the fan that didn't do it, I think they should, give him something, like I agree with the lady, a public apology for that one. And for the other one, I don't care what team you go for. Like you said, it's a beer thing, and, you should know how to handle your alcohol regardless, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's supposed to be getting along regardless. I think he's wrong. I think he should get banned from there for like a year or two regardless. A punishment is punishment. You got to punish him for that.
Millie, thanks for the call. We appreciate you. It seems as if people want this public apology, George. Is it going to happen? You think the Cubs would do something like that?
I think in terms of the wrong guy, I think they'll quietly settle it. I don't know if they have to publicly apologize. Security was probably trying to do its job, make sure that they put the clamps on this situation. But again, the bigger problem here is that you're going to have X number of people to any game acting like jerks. I can even remember, and again, I'm the dinosaur on this show here. Opening day 1975, they had delayed it 3 days because of a 9-inch blizzard. And so there were still piles of snow outside the ballpark. People brought ice balls in there and they're throwing at Jerry Morales in right field. So there is a certain real jerky element that's always going to be at a ball game that they don't belong to be there. The problem is today that because it's so difficult to have tickets, because it's marketed as an event, you don't have a ton of regular fans out there going to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 games a year.
Yeah, I wish we had the days of old. Jose Cardinal, Billy Williams, Ferguson Jenkins, Glenn Becker,
The real players.
Ernie
The
Banks.
real players.
Oh, man, Randy Huntley. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Hold tight, George. Cut the basket, clip the vines, and put advertising on the outfield walls. The Cubs won't win a World Series until something drastic happens in Wrigley. Curse, man. Is it real?
It is not real. Now, if the Cubs refuse to allow my beautiful dogs into the ballpark, do I have the ability to curse them? Now, why should a guy owning a bar, then on the west side, William Cianis, have the ability to curse them because they kicked his goat out of Wrigley Field in 1945? One has nothing to do with the other. William Cianis was a publicity seeker. He tried to get that goat into the Republican convention, smuggle it into a hearse, into the ballpark. He tried to get it in the 1959 World Series, and Bill Veeck headed him off. All this is a publicity stunt, and it detracts from the real story that the Cubs have not had a good baseball organization for most of the last 60 years.
Wow, that's a good point. And they should have done it in 1969. And what was the other year? 80? Help me out.
84. Actually, they let the goat in. They let the descendant goat from Sam Cianis in a number of times when Tribune Company bought the team. But again, it hasn't helped. They even brought a goat in supposedly to break a 12-game home losing streak in 1994. They let the goat in a number of times. One has nothing to do with the other.
That's right. And I've been giving them this free advice forever. Cut the dirt. Get rid of that basket. Get rid of the vines. You know what I'm saying? Hold tight, George. Let me go to phones. I'm going to Kim. Kim, thanks for calling GML. What's your comment, Kim?
Hey, this guy should definitely be punished, man. This is what we get for not being able to beat our children as Americans. I think it's a perfect example. This guy's 21 years old. He's acting like a little boy, and his whole stance is, I'm sorry, so what? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
He should be fined. He should be banned from the ballpark, and he should be made to clean the toilets like trash does.
Wow. Thanks for the call, Kim. Wow, I don't know if Kim is a Cub fan, if she's a Sox fan. She could be a Philadelphia Phillies fan, or maybe a Shane Victorino fan. Let me go to one more phone call. Lorraine, thanks for calling GML. Lorraine, what's your comment?
I don't think he should be punished because it's bigger things going on, and all Cubs fans do not throw beer at the opposing teams. But it did make the Cubs play better today.
Oh, snap. Lorraine, thanks for the call. Oh, George, Talk to me, man. When you get swept by one team, what happens when you play the next team? You play well. What happened to the Cubs, man?
Well, unfortunately, I don't know if it'll be too late. As Jack Brickhouse said, maybe the horse is already out of the barn.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia, or I should say the Pittsburgh Pirates, are kind of a sad sack team right now. So I don't know if they're going to necessarily get well. Now, here's the warning. Here's the tripwire. The Cubs are going to get well against the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
But where are they playing the Padres? They're on the West Coast.
Wow.
And that's always been a death march for the Cubs. They
Yeah.
go out there, the big ballparks, the change in time. That is never a place where you start a winning streak if you're a team from the Midwest, especially the Chicago Cubs.
George Castle, author, Sweet Lou. Man, we really appreciate you being on the show tonight, man. I hope you sell a lot of books, and when I need you for some more Cubs commentary, you are the man. Thanks for being on Garrard McClendon Live, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right. You know what? I've got a special handy-dandy gift. Hey, the first 5 people that call the GMLV line, I'm going to give you a handy-dandy CLTV cup. How about that? You got to give me a call, 630-574-3232. Cut the basket at Wrigley Field, get rid of the vines, put advertising on the outfield walls, and the Chicago Cubs will win a World Series. Let me go to Ed. Ed, thanks for calling GML. What's your comment, Ed?
Gerald. Hi, Gerard. Hi, Gerard.
Hello.
Nice to talk to you, sir.
Hello.
Hey, dude. How you doing?
All
you
right.
know what? I am a Union 597 Piper here in Chicago, and when people do foolish acts like that guy that threw that beer, they should get him on the field, and the whole team should line up and throw a beer in his face.
Hey, Ed, that's what I'm talking about. Thanks for calling GML, Ed. I appreciate you. You know what? Ed's talking about the golden rule, do unto others. Someone throws a beer on you, you grab a beer, throw it back on to them. Let me go to my next caller. You're on the air. Garrard McClendon Live. What's your comment? What's your comment, caller? Yes, what's your comment?
I think that he should be banned from all sporting events. The Bears games, Sox games, whatever games they have. I think he should be banned from all events because we had tried to have a good time and we got him ruining, what could have been an out or a possible,
Yeah.
He needs to be banned from all activities.
That's for real. Hey,
Yes.
I appreciate the call. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for calling Garrard McClendon Live. We've got Black Jack McDowell on the line right now. The Black Jack, he's also from the band Stick Figure. ChicagoNow.com is the blog. Cy Young Award winner, new title blogger on ChicagoNow.com. Black Jack McDowell, how's it going this evening?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, nothing much. First of all, let's talk about ChicagoNow.com, my friend. I appreciate you coming on the show. How did you get to be a blogger on ChicagoNow.com?
A weird story because a few years ago, actually, a lot of years ago, I wrote a column for a couple years for Yahoo. Mm-hmm. And I was telling my wife, Becca, I was like, you know what? This is literally the way it happened. I said, you know what? I should start writing again. I feel like, getting into it and doing something, writing about ball. I watch it every night, and I sit there and talk about it, so what's the difference, Mm-hmm. And the next day, got an email requesting whether I'd be interested in doing a blog. And tell you the truth, I still don't even know. I don't know what a blog is.
Yeah.
But do you know what a blog? What the heck's a blog? What's the definition of a blog? Do you know?
Yeah, it's a web blog. It's a web blog, Jack, and basically you post your thoughts on there. And you know what? Speaking of thoughts, my friend, you wrote something. You said there's a reason guys are in AAA baseball rather than being in the big leagues. Talk to me about this quickly.
Well, I mean, as quick as you can. Usually when you watch where guys get pulled up from, prospects, they'll get pulled up from AA. That's where you put your prospects. AAA guys are your borderline guys. Yeah. They're guys that don't stay consistent enough to be consistent big leaguers, and can't get it done against the top level that you're going to see every day.
Yeah, hey,
and that's
Jack,
what you do. You wallow in AAA. You hope you get a chance.
Hey,
you hope you're with an organization, and you hope that you can do well when you get up.
Hey, Jack, we're going to have you back on the show.
It's a different ball game.
Jack, we're going to have you back on the show. We're running out of time right now. Thanks for being on the show. Garrard McClendon Live will be with you next week. Thanks for being on the show.
All righty.
The McClendon Report. Ask or Ask, Donda's Rules, Suit Shoes. All available at McClendonReport.com.